of life. Like, okay, am I going to be outspoken? I'm feeling real inspired.
Yeah.
I went to see Terrace Martin last night,
Nice.
and I mean, I'm a huge fan of
Yeah.
his, but it was just off the hook. And what I loved about it, it seemed like most of the crowd was millennial and younger,
Yeah.
and out to see jazz and just having a great time. And of
Yes.
course, the band sounded amazing. So yeah, I'm all on 10 today, Chris.
Yes,
I'm on
absolutely.
10. And I love also with Terrace, it's just like 1500 or Nothing or some of these other groups. It's a lot of it is local talent.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of local talent out here in LA and in South Central. And, where I come from on 43rd and Central Avenue. Shout out to the East Side.
Of course. I think that's true and also really underrated because when we think of LA, we think of movie stars and money and people on the beach. That's what people, I'm from the Bay, so that's what
Yeah.
people think of LA when they think of here.
What part of the Bay are you from?
San Francisco.
Nice.
Yeah. But,
Okay.
LA has adopted me and I'm honored to be adopted here. But it's both scholars
Yeah.
like the Afrocentric scholars like Ashra Kwesi and
Yeah.
Runoko Rashidi and Dr. Tony Humbert from Southern California, from South Central.
Yeah.
And then, you've got your Kamasi Washingtons, and your Terrace Martins,
Yes.
Alex Isleys, just all these folks that are from here. It's a real blessing, I think.
It is. It is. I mean, LA has so much talent, and there's more to come.
For sure that. Where can we see you performing? I mean, you're so busy, right? Uh, rumor has it, well, I think we announced on this show you're running for office, that
Yes.
you have a private law practice, which is
Yes.
booming, and
Yes.
you have a band.
Yes. And it's no longer a rumor. All the paperwork is filed. I'm officially a candidate for Los Angeles City Council District 9.
Wow. When was the deadline? It just passed, right?
I believe the deadline
Or it hasn't passed yet?
it's in February.
Okay, leave it to you to be
Yeah.
ahead of the deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that means we'll be in full swing with election
Yes.
in February because a lot of people talk the talk,
Yeah.
but it's more than a notion, right? You need a fair number of verified signatures
Yes.
and a fee,
Yes.
right?
Yes, you need 500 signatures and a $300 fee. Or if you get 1,000 signatures, you don't have to pay the $300 fee.
Really?
Yeah.
But that's really more like 2,000 or 3,000 signatures because they have to be verified,
Right. They have to be verified. They have to be voters in the district, registered, all of that. So
which is harder than it sounds.
it's harder than it sounds, but it's possible. It's doable.
We think like, oh, I'll just get my mom in them. And that's like, wait, 11, 12.
Right.
You got to get up to 1,000. Well, that's interesting. That'll be an interesting race.
Mm-hmm.
I think next year is going to be a lot for the
Yes.
city of Los Angeles. We've got mayor,
Yeah.
we've got governor's race,
Yeah.
a couple city councils. It's odd number districts, right?
Right.
I think it's all the odd number districts. So weird. We alternate
That's true.
between the odd and even. And do you know who you're supporting for governor yet? I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't decided, and it seems like I guess we should wait until after the deadline, right? Because
Yeah.
it seems like a lot of people are running for
A
governor.
lot of people are running. I mean, I have been seeing Villaraigosa at a lot of the black political events. So I do see that he's, working the
He's
black
doing
community.
his thing. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's been mayor of Los Angeles. He
Yes.
knows without us is not going down.
Right. Yeah.
At least not for any candidate of color.
Right.
You
Right.
ain't going to be. It's crazy. You're not going to be a black mayor without Latinos, and you're not going to be a Latino mayor without black people.
Right.
Not in LA.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That black vote and that Latino vote is super important.
Yeah. But there's a distinct possibility, and I've maybe talked about this too much, but I don't think enough. That we could have two Republicans in the gubernatorial primary, because right now the two Republicans are in the top three,
Yeah.
and we we don't have, the type of primary where you get one Republican and one Democrat. You get the top two vote
Yeah.
getters. They could both be Nazi Party, right?
They both could be.
We'd have to pick
That's why
one.
it's important to get out there and vote.
Yeah.
If you don't vote, then you don't count.
Yeah. Well, and you can say that because you didn't just start saying it.
Right.
You've been an activist a long time. It's not just, I'm running for office and now I'm going to say vote.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and you're you're an actual activist, like the type that goes to protests and, not just a keyboard warrior.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's an honor to serve my community. It's something my mom instilled in me in a young age,
And it's working.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're getting breaking news right now that Warner Brothers has rejected this deal from Paramount, the hostile bid from Paramount. And they're saying that the Ellison family, which is, Larry Ellison and David Ellison, father, son, Larry Ellison, of course, is the guy behind Oracle. He's one of the Trump billionaire oligarchs.
Right.
And he is soon to be in control of TikTok if that deal goes through. They had been beaten out by Netflix. And now they did a hostile offer. And apparently it's been rejected. Now, I don't know how enough about this kind of business deals. This is a bit above my pay grade.
Yeah.
But my understanding was that the president was going to put his finger on the scale and try to help his friend Larry Ellison partly because he has agreed to fire a couple of CNN hosts if he gets hold of it. How would that work? Could the president step in and he can't force the board to take the deal, can he? How does that work?
It seems highly unethical, but with a president like this, that's what he does. He's an unethical president. And even if he doesn't do it on an official level, of course, he can go behind the scenes and try to influence things. So
right.
That's who he is as a person, unfortunately.
Wow. Well, I'm surprised. Miles and I were talking about this because he plays that lottery I'll call the stock market. And Paramount said it was going to pay Warner stockholders $30 a share. Miles thought that was a pretty tempting offer. But $78 billion for the whole company. But they said no, and they're saying no comment, which I think is hilarious. No and no comment. No from Warner's and no comment from Paramount. So
Got you.
It looks like, I don't know. I guess we'll see what Trump does.
You're gonna see.
We'll see what the unethical move we never thought of was.
Right. Every day is something new with him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the art of the deal, Chris.
Oh my gosh, you just wonder what the next day is going to bring with him.
From a legal mind, are you surprised, like the moves they're making with the Supreme Court, things they're going after? Like right now, they're going after birthright citizenship, which we kind of have looked at. I've always thought pretty basic, kind of U.S. policy. Is that surprising you, the scope of it, the depth of it, or are you kind of were expecting this?
I was expecting this, once Trump got in there, he was going to, including from the first term, he was going to pack the Supreme Court with people for the next 30 years who were going to be in line with what he agrees with, which allows him to do essentially whatever he wants when it comes to these laws, right? Like that's why, abortion was held to be, or Roe v. Wade was overturned, because he got the people in there that he wanted to be able to change that.
But I feel like every president wanted to have a permanent majority on the Supreme Court.
Yes.
But this one pushed the envelope and did things that were unethical. Didn't let Obama have his pick, and then went ahead well, it was really, that was Mitch McConnell. And then they went ahead and jammed their pick through at the last minute. So now they have this super majority. Yeah.
It's just crazy that, the stars, I hate to say it like this, but the stars kind of aligned for him to be able to,
cheat.
With, one of the longtime Supreme Court justices, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, dying in office, as opposed to retiring a little bit earlier in the Obama administration, where he could have replaced her with, somebody for the next 30 years who would have been more in line with liberal and progressive politics.
Yeah.
She stayed on and then passed away, closer to Trump's term, which allowed him to replace her with a conservative.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, a lot of people are still angry at her about that. It's like hubris. You think you can beat the clock. You think you can beat Father Time.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
I think a lot of folks just underestimated his ability to beat Hillary.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
This is never going to happen,
Well, because it seemed like he was like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
And he still seems like that.
Yes, he does. And even on a grander level now, he believes that he can operate with impunity. As Richard Nixon once said, when the president does it, that means that it is not illegal.
Okay, more on that when we come forward. Attorney Chris Martin is my guest, and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I got the champagne. Everybody's glass.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates our own Keith Underwood, host of the weekend entertainment show Black in the Green Room, on his recent honor at the annual National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards. Keith received a first place award presented by the Los Angeles Press Club for his entertainment reporting, and we couldn't be prouder. Congratulations, Keith, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominic DePrima right now.
Right now, we're back to me. We're back to attorney Chris Martin. And, I appreciate your giving your legal expertise on all these different issues that we're facing. I feel like I should be keeping a running tally because there's so many stories where I find myself saying, man, is that legal? Or what are the legal ramifications for that? So today, a lot of people are talking about Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle, being murdered allegedly by their son, Nick Reiner, and he's meant to appear in court today on 2 counts of first-degree murder for killing his parents. I can't really think of much more tragic than that.
Yeah.
Does any of the legal stuff change because they're related? We just saw the similar story with the opera singer in Santa Monica whose son allegedly stabbed him to death.
First of all, my heart goes out to that family.
Yeah, it's really terrible.
I believe that that's just a super tragic situation. And when it comes to there's the legal aspects of it, when you're talking about family, I believe that there's a good chance that the defense attorney is probably going to argue that that the killing should be downgraded from first-degree murder to second-degree murder or voluntary manslaughter, something like that, due to mitigating factors.
Because he's struggling with drug abuse and or mental health issues.
Mental health, exactly. There may even be an insanity plea. I'm sure that there would be some type of insanity plea from the defense attorney related to that.
As they're saying that he's hired this really, top-level attorney, Alan Jackson, defense attorney, and that seems weird because I'm sure his parents are paying for it.
Yeah.
His inheritance. If you murder your parents and their will says that you are the inheritor, you still get everything?
It doesn't quite work like that when you're the person who actually kills them, But yeah, I mean, I'd imagine that what he has is because of his parents in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just we can all make our own way, but when you're in and out of rehab, and you're having mental health issues, you probably are more than likely living on your parents.
Yeah.
So, the district attorney had a big press conference yesterday, and he is, they're holding him without bail. He could be looking at life without possibility of parole or even the death penalty, which our DA has brought back.
Yes, he has.
What does that mean, that DA Hawkman has brought back the death penalty? I mean, in real people terms, what does it mean?
Well, it certainly means that for various crimes that are deemed to be heinous, like a first-degree murder of two well-respected and beloved people in the community, that the death penalty is going to be more likely to happen in a situation like that, and that's something that's going to be on the table there. I mean, I'm not somebody I don't personally believe in the death penalty. But I know that there's a lot of folks out there who do believe in the retribution aspects of our criminal justice system as it pertains to that.
Yeah, I don't believe in the death penalty at all.
Yeah.
If there was, I don't believe that anyone gets to decide who lives and dies ever. Like, I just think that's between you and the Most High.
Yes.
But the racism factor, even if I did think the state had the right to execute because of the racial bias in the system, I don't know how you can support killing people when everything in our system is biased against black people.
Yeah, you really can't, because it's just like, ultimately, the death, once somebody's put to death, you can't take that back.
Right.
What if there's exculpatory evidence that is found? People sit on death row for years and years, and so it's just like, what if there's exculpatory evidence that is found that could exonerate that person, but they're killed.
Right.
You can't take that back, and that has happened countless times.
And I would imagine, I have not seen the data on this, but I would imagine, just from clocking the news stories of who's getting off death row, they always seem to be black men.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a Supreme Court case by the name of McCleskey v. Kemp, where it proved that people who kill white victims are far more likely to get the death penalty than people who kill black victims, right? It stands for the notion that when it comes to victims of violence, that ultimately black lives don't matter as much as white lives.
Wow.
And so, there's a bias there as it pertains to the death penalty that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, and we know we're much more likely to get sentenced for any crime to the death penalty. That I have seen data on.
Yeah.
Compared to anyone else. So for me, even if I didn't have a moral problem with someone else deciding who lives and dies, the fact that bias is there means it nullifies any moral authority to have such a law.
Yeah.
Because it's not being applied equally. We got news, traffic, and sports right here. Then we're going to continue the conversation with attorney Chris Martin on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. A stuntman who worked with Rob Reiner and Nick Reiner 10 years ago said there was tension between the two on the set of a film they were making together. Eric Atty tells KTLA that Nick Reiner did not seem to appreciate his father's help.
And I could tell that his father was there doing this for him. I mean, his father's directing his own movie.
The movie, Being Charlie, was written by Nick and was based on his own struggles with addiction. Nick is now accused of murdering his parents. A new eating disorder called orthorexia is on the rise. Orthorexia involves an obsession with so-called clean eating. A person who's orthorexic sometimes avoids eating entire food groups, which can lead to nutrition deficiencies. And Aiden Ross, a college student from Texas, has been crowned this season's winner on The Voice. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Get your vehicle ready for all that extra holiday driving at your local Big O Tires. For a limited time, save $100 instantly on select sets of tires with paid installation. For your nearest store, visit BigOTires.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
With the Rams already qualifying for the NFC playoffs, Chargers fans are wondering what their team needs to do to make it to the postseason. The 10-4 Chargers have 3 ways to clinch a playoff spot Sunday in the AFC. They can clinch one of the 3 wildcard slots where they win Sunday at Dallas, and if Houston or Indianapolis lose on Sunday. Houston is at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Indianapolis is at home against San Francisco. The Chargers should put their hopes on the 49ers. There is no way Houston is losing at home to the Raiders. The Chargers' final 2 regular season games are against Houston and Denver. The UCLA women's basketball team, ranked 4th in the country, had a practice game Tuesday night at Pauley Pavilion. They beat Cal Poly 115-28. Point guard Kiki Rice almost outscored the entire Cal Poly team by herself. She led the 10-1 Bruins with 23 points. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. SMP volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an SMP open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-295-0763. 800-295-0763.
1 year ago, flames tore through Altadena and Eaton Canyon, changing lives forever. From the ashes, can a beloved community rise stronger? Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, host of First Things First, weekday mornings, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., here on KBLA Talk 1580. And I'm inviting you to join us on Wednesday, January 7th, as we broadcast live from Perry's Joint on the 1-year anniversary of this horrific and devastating fire. We're remembering those we lost, celebrating the heroes and sheroes who answered the call, and honoring the resilience of neighbors who are determined to rebuild together.
I've been a strong black woman a long time, and I can't just break down now.
Hear the stories of survival, the voices of recovery, the spirit of community that the fire couldn't destroy, and yes, the angst of those who still do not know where they go from here.
Yeah, where am I go?
At KBLA Talk 1580, we don't just cover the story, we're part of this community, and we've done our level best to hold those responsible for this fire accountable. And 1 year later, we're still standing together.
It is my hopes that black people will rebuild those homes.
So join us live at Perry's Joint, 2051 Lincoln Avenue in Pasadena, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Wednesday, January 7th, as we commemorate the 1 year anniversary of the Altadena Eaton Canyon fire. Because some stories demand to be remembered.
This too shall pass.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, so the LA City Council on Friday voted, they approved $1 million for new LAPD recruits for the months of January and February. Matt Szabo, who, does budget and finance, he's a city administrative officer. He said that they need $24 million in additional dollars for next year to hire officers. And we are in the middle of a crazy budget crisis where the mayor had to jump through hoops and get unions to agree to compromises and such in order to avoid any layoffs. She was able to avoid that. Shout out to the mayor for that. But now you're telling us out of your neck you can suddenly find $1 million. Now, according to ABC7, Marquise Harris Dawson, Heather Hutt, John Lee, Tracy Bark, and Imelda Padilla all voted against that million. They're saying that ABC7 is saying it's because they're supporting more money, a proposal for $4.4 million that was made by Councilmember Lee. Thoughts?
That is just ridiculous. I don't think that we need to expand the budget at all for police. I just wish that even if a fraction of the money that police get was just spent on things that will help our community, then that would make a huge difference in our community. That's what I think about it.
Yeah, it's problematic. I mean, I don't understand how you either have the money or you don't.
Yeah.
Because as the public, I'm going to stop believing you when you tell me we're broke if you can suddenly pull $4.4 million, which is really an annualized $24 million out of your neck.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it doesn't look good, and I'm baffled.
Yeah.
I'm really baffled. I'm just surprised. John Lee, more or less a Republican.
Yeah.
Tracy Park, more or less a Republican. Padilla, I don't know as much about.
Yeah.
Our city council president is a progressive.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Supposed to be, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money. $24 million. I mean, it sounded bad at 4.4, but we're talking about a time when, according to, Katie Yaroslavsky, it's not money that we can make up by laying off city workers. It's money that will be part of a structural deficit moving forward.
Yeah. It's just, it's really a shame. I don't think that the police need more of a budget than they already have. They already take up so much of the city's budget. And if even just a fraction of that was spent on, things like making sure that we can get more homeowners in the 9th District, or, we can get more job training programs in the 9th District, or in the city of Los Angeles in general. I speak about the 9th District because that's where I live, born and raised, and that's where I'm running for. But ultimately, if we can spend that money on the things that actually matter and will help our community, that is what will reduce crime.
Well, here's the thing. There's two things about this, Attorney Martin. One, can we find the money, for other things we need, like you just said, like houselessness, for example. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is, if this isn't happening in an election year, when people are vying for the support
Yeah.
of the police association.
Yeah.
And that really seems a little suspect.
Yeah.
Oh, suddenly we have to cough up money. It's like somebody's twisting your arm. Oh, look at the timing.
Yeah.
2026, we have city council races, we have the mayor's race, we have the governor's race, and suddenly, from out of nowhere, we find money for the police.
Yeah.
That is fishy to me.
Yeah. I mean, the money is there to be able to make a difference in the community, but we have to push our leaders to use that money for the right things. We have to push them because somebody else over there is pushing them to use it for the police.
Well, and the thing about it is, if it instantly made us safe, I think that would be different. But
right.
Okay, fine for everybody. Nobody will be attacked. There'll be no hate crimes.
Right.
Suddenly we'll have no robberies, homicides. But that's not how it works.
It's not how it works at all.
And so what are we paying for? And I don't know. I would feel a lot more comfortable with this if the LA Police Association was not allowed to make donations to campaigns.
Yeah.
For one thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we really need to reassess the city's budget. That's one of the things that I stand on. We need to reassess the city's budget.
What does that mean, though? I mean, that's easy to say. Fix it. Just do it better. I mean, and what do you mean by that? Reassess and do what?
Looking at the people's budget, for example, thinking about the things that are like police, like law enforcement, right? Where you got so much of the city's budget being spent on that to the exclusion of programs that could actually, diminish crime in our city. But we're not spending it on those things, which actually is the things that the folks need in order to not do crime, So we can reassess the city's budget. We can take it from, the overspending on law enforcement and the militarization of our police, and we can take that and use it towards the things that will help our community.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I've been part of the last couple of years presenting the people's budget, last 3 years, I think. And the thing about it, one thing it consistently shows, and it is thousands of people that take this survey, is that people want to spend less on police.
Yeah.
It also less on parking enforcement.
Right.
Surprise, surprise. and we want to spend more on libraries, parks.
Yeah.
Jobs.
Yeah.
And mental health services.
Yeah.
And that's consistent.
Yeah. And spending more on giving our young folks something to do, so that they're not just feeling like gangbanging is the only thing that they can do, Yeah, for sure that. But I'm reading about this and I'm thinking of the council members that we have. I called out the council president because they said he wants even more money. Yeah.
But that means, according to this count, 9-6, that means Hugo Soto Martinez, Eunices Hernandez, Nithya Raman. That means a lot of people that we consider progressives. Yeah. Just Isabel Jurado.
Yeah.
Just voted for an election year bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're taking our votes for granted. They think they already got it, So it's like they may feel like it doesn't even matter what they do that offends the people, because the police are going to give them all this money.
I mean, so two things. Police Association gets dues from cops.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess recruiting 24 million worth of cops would give them more dues, and then can they turn around and spend that money to support whatever candidate they want?
Right.
So they strong arm the money out of the city council and then turn around and use it to either support or undermine all of those folks who voted, or all the odd numbered council members who voted for it. It's very fishy. Police associations should not be allowed to donate to city politics.
Right.
I just don't think they should. You're supposed to be protecting and serving everybody.
Absolutely.
And certainly not in election years should
Not
we
in
be
an
voting
election
on
year,
any
especially.
budget items concerning cops. All the odd number years have to recuse themselves if they're running for office.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got to hold our leaders accountable.
And so we were talking about this off the mic.
Mm-hmm.
That accountability is not equal opportunity, though, right?
Yes.
I mean, some would argue that Councilmember Lee should be doing time.
Yeah.
Just like, Mitch O'Farrell did.
Yeah.
Just like, they pulled Ridley Thomas off the council.
Yeah. Yes, they
and
did.
before he was convicted of anything.
Yeah.
Now he's convicted and he's waiting appeal. Do we know what's happening with that?
Yeah. I mean, my understanding is that he's still awaiting the appeal. I'd have to.
Why do some cases take 100 years and some happen so quick? I mean, I've never understood that.
That's a good question.
We don't,
that is a good
there's
question.
No logical
If
answer.
I knew the answer to that, then I would let you know. I mean, I can tell you.
Then you'd be a very rich lawyer.
I mean, oftentimes
Dang.
it boils down to, sometimes let's say that there's a impending trial. Maybe the witnesses are not ready yet, so it has to be continued. When I say continued, that means postponed. It has to be, continued or postponed because the witnesses are not ready yet, or it has to be postponed because maybe not all of the discovery has been, completed. Not all the evidence has been compiled, and so, there's just extensions that the court will give when the lawyers ask for it.
And that can delay a case.
Yes,
Sometimes it
absolutely.
seems like it just takes them forever to even start the case at all.
Right. Sometimes, I mean, depositions need to be had that haven't been taken yet, and so the lawyer is going to say, Your Honor, I need an extra 3 months here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so the point I was making is that I don't think there's equal accountability.
Yes.
Same thing we're seeing, them going after Councilmember Kern Price, what I think is BS, and then Hochman, who implied that it was BS too.
Yeah.
To many black leaders, once he got elected, he was singing a different tune and is now brought additional charges against Councilmember Price, who is termed out.
Yes, he is.
And will be stepping aside next year.
Yes.
But they're still pursuing these charges. And that was also continued, right?
Yes, that was continued to January 20th.
So what happens on January 20th? We'll find out. I mean, what's going to happen?
We'll see if the lawyers and the witnesses and all of them people are ready. And if they are ready, then it'll probably go forward on January 20th. If they're not, then, it'll be continued again. There will come a point, though, where the judge will be like, okay, like no more continuances, no more postponements of this thing. Let's get this thing moving.
So that's up to the judge.
Up to the judge.
At this rate, by the time they go to court, the council member's term may be over.
Yes, that's true. I do foresee that the preliminary hearing will happen before he's termed out.
I just feel like, and I know I'm not the only one because we've talked about this on the show before, that it feels like a targeting of black electeds in LA, and it always has. It's not new.
Yeah.
I've seen it I've been on this mic a lot of years, Chris, and I've seen it for years.
Yeah.
That we're the only ones that seem to be caught up in things that other people would be okay, pay this off.
Yeah.
Pay a fine. Yeah. Get a slap on the wrist. We got to they could settle. That's also still a possibility, right?
Yes, and probably likely. I think Kern probably does go down on something. He probably will accept some type of
You think
plea.
he's going to plead out?
I think he probably will. I don't think it goes to a full, trial with a guilty or not guilty verdict there. So that's what I think is going to happen there. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, of course.
Most cases don't go to trial. Most cases do end up in some type of settlement or plea deal. I predict that it would be just a lesser offense than what he's charged with now. But that's what I think will happen.
That's why I thought it was so crazy that that sheriff's deputy got it was Trevor Kirk in the Winco case where he threw that older American black woman to the ground and punched her and stuff.
Yeah.
He didn't take the deal. He was convicted, facing jail time, and then the Trump administration offers him a post-conviction plea deal. And I'm wondering why would anyone ever take a plea deal if you can get a post-conviction plea deal?
Right. That's a great question. But what I'll add this, though, because something that we were talking about really did, it's on my mind, you know. Black leaders often do not get away with the things that white leaders and other leaders may get away with. But I still think that it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we walk with integrity. We are held to a higher standard than the other people, but it's not fair. But we still got to do it. We still got to walk in integrity, and that's what's super important, even at the city council level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's fair to say. I'm not saying that because, you know, we're being bothered and discriminated against that we get a pass.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's a problem when you think you're walking integrity and you make an error, you know, whether it's an administrative error or something that's commonly done in the council, like an up-down vote, right, on a massive, on a bunch of different things. They vote up-down. It's not even controversial. You may or may not even realize your wife is doing business, and where someone else would get a handshake and a clap on the back and a, you know, this is an ethics issue. Let's be more careful.
Right.
Yours is going to be take down your reputation.
Right.
Possible jail time. You got to spend a bunch of money defending it, even if you win.
Right.
And it even if you win, the genie doesn't go back in the bottle. You're the guy that was accused of this, this, and this.
Yeah. The character is assassinated at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attorney Chris Martin is my guest. You're welcome to call in at 800-920-1580 or not. KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
In a city as big as LA, healthcare shouldn't feel far away. That's why Cedars-Sinai is breaking down barriers and bringing resources like free screenings, vaccinations, and wellness programs into local communities. From Leimert Park to Lincoln Heights and everywhere in between, Cedars-Sinai is showing up, partnering with over 200 local organizations to improve access to healthcare resources. Because care doesn't just happen inside a hospital. It happens in neighborhoods and places around the city where we live, work, and grow. Cedars-Sinai, here for LA.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD. We'll help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Established in 2020 during a time of deep racial unrest across our state and country, the Black Freedom Fund was created to make sure that leaders and organizations working to support Black communities and build power have the resources they need to stay in the fight for the long haul. We believe that those closest to the issues impacting our communities know best how to solve them. That's why in just the last 5 years, we've granted more than $45 million to over 200 grassroots organizations across California. That is the largest collective investment in Black organizing in history, and we're just getting started. We are clear-eyed and committed, more now than ever, to our people, our power, and our possibility. Join us in creating a future where Black people harness their full power to shape their lives and realize a just world for all. Learn more at fundblackfreedom.org. That's fundblackfreedom.org. The Black Freedom Fund is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back indeed. We are here with attorney Chris Martin, and I'd have to keep you here until next Tuesday if I was going to ask you all the legal dangling questions and issues that I have. So let's go right to Jerry on the phone. Jerry from LA. Good morning. You're on with attorney Chris Martin.
Good morning. Good morning, Dominic. Thank you for taking my call. And Attorney Martin, thank you for coming on. I had just a couple of questions, and I'll take my answers off the air. But I wanted to get your thoughts on how things like post-conviction plea deals and qualified immunity, how those things would impact the average citizen's rights for equal protection under the law. It seems as though we have enough data and awareness to where we understand the effect that these things have had on the people. And I was wondering, at what point does all this stuff violate our individual civil rights for equal protection? That was kind of what I wanted to get your thoughts on. I'll take your response off the air.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is that when it comes to qualified immunity, that's just something that, solely benefits law enforcement officers, gives them a huge advantage in civil rights lawsuits against them for excessive force and police brutality. What it essentially says is, if there's no case law that is identical to the facts in your case, then that officer is going to be immune from being sued, even if they have violated your constitutional rights. So
I thought that applied to all agents of the state.
Yes. But particularly, as it pertains to, I do, think about it more so as it pertains to.
Oh, because you're dealing with cops.
Exactly. Because I'm a civil rights attorney.
Right.
And I assume. So, yeah.
Yeah. So how then? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but Jerry. It sounds like Jerry's saying because we're not going to get the post conviction plea deal, and we're not going to get qualified immunity as regular citizens. Does that mean we're not getting equal protection under the law?
I would say so. I mean, we can't get qualified immunity for our actions, right?
Right.
We violate somebody's constitutional rights, we go into jail for it, or we could be sued for it.
Right.
But if a cop violates your constitutional rights, then there's a whole bunch of protections that are in play for them that allow them to do that to a certain extent.
So apparently there's exceptions to equal protection.
Yes. And essentially
living while black.
Right. Essentially, if an officer isn't put on notice that what they're doing is constitutional, then they can get away with it in civil rights court,
But if you have to already have a precedent, then as long as they're coming up with a unique way to violate your civil rights, they're in the clear.
Exactly.
No, I wasn't kneeling on his neck. I was stomping on his neck.
Right. Exactly. And if there is no case out there that says that stomping on a person's neck is unconstitutional, then yes, they can get away with, stomping
So
on
how
the
do you ever get a new case into the law then?
That is a great question.
That's a chicken or egg law.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
That's a chicken or egg law, right? So it does take a brave judge. It takes a brave judge to be able to say, you know what, I deem this to be constitutional. I mean, unconstitutional
right.
Going forward. And then the civil rights lawyers can look at that case and say, all right.
So they have to decide that something else is close enough to something else. Well, stomping, kneeling, same difference.
Exactly.
It can go.
Yes.
And that's at total discretion of the judge.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so most of those cases are old, right? Because they would have had to be introduced before qualified immunity was so widely used.
Yeah. So there are some, old cases that we can refer to, but there's also, newer cases that come out that we can, refer to as well, and try to just make them be as similar to those previous cases as we possibly can.
That's so insane. So great question, Jerry.
Yeah.
And the answer is no, you don't have equal protection under the law. I mean, pretty much. I mean, except for in this, read the fine print. There's more terms and conditions than an app.
Right.
We got a minute and a half here, Attorney Chris Martin. Time flies when you're on the radio. What do you want to leave us with today?
I want to leave you with the fact that I'm running for city council in District 9, so vote for your boy. Follow me on Instagram at Chris Martin CD9. Visit my website at www.chrismartinforcd9.com. And I love y'all, and I love my community, and I'm proud to be having the opportunity to represent it. I'm from South Central Los Angeles. I never left the community, and I love my community with all my heart. Thank you.
And but okay, we still got a little close to a minute. That costs a lot of money to run for city office in LA, doesn't it? I mean,
yes,
you got to be on the hunt. You on the hunt?
Oh yeah, I'll be making my phone calls, and all of that, So it's hard, but there's nothing that is impossible, and I believe in myself and my abilities and my God, and I know that I can do this.
Okay, well, I'm always happy to see people jumping in the race, progressive jumping in the race. I think that for me that would be a deterrent, but I'm glad it's not for you, because that's one of the big problems with our government right now. Yeah. It's too dependent on who has deep pockets.
Right.
If it was billionaire attorney Chris Martin, you would have actually quantifiably an easier ride. But organizing skills and tenacity, as we've seen with folks like Hugo Soto Martinez and Anisis Hernandez, can go a long way. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
All right, Wealth Building Wednesday next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. A stuntman who worked with Rob Reiner and Nick Reiner 10 years ago said there was tension between the two on the set of a film they were making together. Eric Atty tells KTLA that Nick Reiner did not seem to appreciate his father's help.
And I could tell that his father was there doing this for him. I mean, his father's directing his own movie.
The movie, Being Charlie, was written by Nick and was based on his own struggles with addiction. Nick is now accused of murdering his parents. A new eating disorder called orthorexia is on the rise. Orthorexia involves an obsession with so-called clean eating. A person who's orthorexic sometimes avoids eating entire food groups, which can lead to nutrition deficiencies. And Aiden Ross, a college student from Texas, has been crowned this season's winner on The Voice. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.